Welcome to the next episode of Pricing Masters Season 2. Today we're going to talk about geolocalization. Imagine that you can buy exactly the same product for the same price in different countries. Not possible in the retail world, while it's quite often in SaaS world. Why is that?
The biggest insight here is obviously different markets have different willingness to pay. Why opening? And it's actually funny that we're discussing this today because we have literally, when we're recording this video, we have literally experienced it on our own case where the German customer said that the prices we have proposed are completely different than their market prices. In other words, we have underpriced. And there are multiple reasons for that. And actually, there are two angles of looking at that. One is the customer perspective, that in some markets, some more sophisticated markets, customers want to pay more because they are looking for different things in products. And second are all these macroeconomic factors that actually influence it.
I think not to make it too complicated, too complex, it is quite simple. Different customers, the same customers in different countries, they have different budgets. If you are a US citizen, most likely you have a bit bigger budget to spend on the tools versus, for example, our native Polish customers.
Correct.
They have different wallets. While it might be counterintuitive to present different prices to users based on their geography, it is quite profitable for our clients.
Yeah. So you can basically, depending on the market, you can increase the ACV, the average customer value, by 20 to 30% based on only on the geolocalization. Just to give you an example, if you imagine that on the slide that we are displaying right now, if you set the baseline on the United States as 100%, so this is, let's say, this $100 that they're paying for. In Western Europe, in UK, for instance, you can ask for 15% surplus. In Germany, it will be about 7% surplus. In Scandinavia, though, it will be even 20 to 30% depending on several markets. In Eastern Europe, on the other hand, this is minus 15% of what you can expect in US. And if you go east to Southeast Asia, you can even expect like 40 to 50% discount. So basically, what you need to do is you need to understand that this allows you to shape the prices differently on different markets.
And there's additional layer to it, which is conversion. Because of course we can talk in terms of willingness to pay, but then if you present different prices to different geographies, you need to take into consideration that you also have some conversion baseline. And thinking of it, if you present the prices in the local currencies, so in Poland, in zloty, in America, in dollars, you can expect higher conversion.
Yeah, this is what airlines figured out some time ago, that you can purchase the tickets previously only available in USD or euros, for instance, or Great British pounds. Now you can purchase them in pretty much any currency because they fully understand that customers, the conversion increases with it. And without the data, like when was the last time you went for a trip to the different country with different currency?
3 weeks ago.
Okay, 3 weeks ago you were in Cambodia and Thailand. So they have different currencies, obviously, and what immediately happens, you go to Thailand, they're like Thai bahts, right? The currency there, you know that this is more or less 1/10 of the Polish zloty-ish, something like that. I don't remember, but what you're doing when you're abroad, you immediately start quoting, right? You start quoting, so how much it is in Polish zlotys, how much it is, because you don't remember the currency exchanges, you always quote, you think if this is strong, good price or bad price.
And it changes in time, and your pricing page and your pricing should decrease the cognitive barrier
Correct.
to your users. So with presenting local currencies, actually what you're doing, I think you are accelerating the decision.
Correct.
not time to market, but the decision journey for your users. So for your margin, we recommend actually to geolocalize your prices. For conversion, we recommend to present your prices in the local currency.
Yep. And it might require some, so here's a little things on how to do it, right? Because if you're an enterprise level solution, if you're running as an RFP, request for proposals, writing letter of proposals, actual offers, it's simple. You simply charge these customers in this currency. You'll figure it out how to bring the deal into your bank account. In worst case scenario, you'll just transfer the money to the currency you want. But basically, this makes it super easy. But when it comes to the self-onboarding, where you can actually have your own checkout, this is a little bit harder. What I have observed, there are like two things. One is to very simply transfer the prices from USD to euros and to British pounds. So you already have Western hemisphere covered, more or less. But more sophisticated tactic is to actually allow to choose the checkout. There are tools that are already allowing for it, but on top you can use some level of indexing of your prices according to the currency, according to willingness to pay, and we have experience in doing it, right?
Yes, you can index actually your customers not only based on the geography that they're currently in, but for example, for the enterprise level solution, based on the situation that the client is currently in. So imagine that you need to conduct an analysis or deliver the onboarding tomorrow versus, and this is requirement from the client, versus in 1 month time. What does it mean? If you need to do it tomorrow, most likely money is secondary to the client. The time to market is important, which allow you to charge premium. If it's in a month, most likely you should follow your baseline. So the whole concept of indexing is around the product you deliver, the quality of the service you deliver, geography, of course, and this current situation that you are within the deal life cycle. So indexing is pretty powerful. It is not super based on value. Nevertheless, it helps you to meet the situation where you receive a no from your client based on
it extracts the current value. It doesn't increase value, doesn't bring more value, but it extracts it. But in terms of the geolocation itself, what we have done, and this is something that we are displaying right now on this chart. This is the index we have created. We have reverse engineered various research journals. The previous slide we have shown was from Profitwell. We have also put it into our model. What we did, we literally took various macroeconomics indicators like Big Mac index, effective tax rate, digital economy index, saturation of subscriptions, and few others.
And our own research.
Our own research, exactly, and observations to tune the models. So for instance, for Luxembourg or Switzerland, you would add a 40% surplus or something like this. For South America, you would probably reduce it by 30% using the US as a baseline. And this is something that you can build on your own. But even if you don't build anything sophisticated, you can literally use some level of heuristics and judgments that, US is this, Switzerland is probably 20% up, Eastern Europe is probably 20% down. It is still better than doing something
to fit them all.
Yeah, want to fit them all. And if you have this index, you can take this USD, change it to the Swedish krona, and also multiply it by this indexing. The only thing that you need to remember for certain EU regulations, for instance, is that you cannot differentiate, you cannot discriminate based on price. So if you're adding, for instance, a Swedish currency, you need to add, for instance, that your customer support team can handle the request in Swedish. Right now with AI, fairly doable on the Intercom platform. You just simply need to translate stuff. And this is enough for the regulators, usually, but double check my words if this didn't change.
This is not a legal advice.
This is not a legal advice, but this is something that you may think of how to implement it to the platform. And honestly, I don't want to recommend any solution, but this is doable and actually showing the higher sophistication of your product, and also increasing the overall perceived quality of this product. So geolocalization, so to say, is a strong tool. I think less than 10% of companies honestly use it. Sometimes they have USD, euros, maybe PLN and USD, so local currency plus global currency, something like this. They don't use the whole cafeteria of options of the price display.
So if you want to increase your revenues through pricing, make sure to use indexes. And the first index that I think we recommend to use is geography, geolocalization. Don't forget about this. Typically an elephant on the room, but pretty doable to increase revenue.
Last thing that I would add here is you can make it automated to show the prices in different currency based on the IP location. And this is already changing the dynamics. You just need to remember about different tunings that for some markets, nines work perfectly, while for instance in China, this is a potentially not that easy, and this is bad number. For some countries, 7 is a lucky number, for some others don't. So this is a different nuances that you need to keep in mind. But even if you do a simple calculation into the different currencies and mention that this was default is USD, it is already shifting the dynamics of your pricing. Very simple growth hack, very doable. For more tips, for more pricing contests, remember to subscribe to the Pricing Masters channel.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Yeah, and thanks. This was everything we had for this season, Kris. How do you feel about this?
This is the last episode of our season?
Yeah, this is the last episode of the current season, 8 episodes.
I feel tired, but super happy and enthusiastic because I know that we're gonna record the next season and it's gonna be even better than...
It's gonna be epic. So in the next episode, in the next season, we're going to deep dive into elements that you're giving us feedback to, but also to the things that we believe are important. So a little bit more on the design, little more on the operations from the pricing side.
Even more about pricing. Cheers to that.
Cheers.